Cameroon Renaissance movement. And so this time we get it that it's like the file of the Cameroon Renaissance movement or that of Maurice Kamto has to be dusted. You know, it has been on the legal hidden drawers, but because they decided, as they say, they decided to forgive Maurice Kamto and released him some time ago. But we'll get to that this time. That file has to be dusted, and they have to look into it. And some rumors have it that maybe the Cameroon Renaissance movement will be banned in Cameroon given their demonstration. But I would like to begin with you, Mr. Jomo Cyril. If you look at the demonstration that has brought a lot of noise in Cameroon, now, what do you expect of your party as of now that maybe the government is trying to do something against the party?
Thanks, Mr. Moderator. Your questions give me the possibility to be one of the few people to comment on this decision that the State Minister, Mr. René Emmanuel Sadi, took or released some days ago concerning the September the 22nd peaceful demonstration by the Cameroon Renaissance Movement and allies. And so, from the very set, I want to bring us back to the objective of this set demonstration and go further to talk a bit about the legal ramification that motivated us to take that move, and I will be landing by raising some issues of abuses when state officials measure the law into their hand and step over in the application. First, the objective of this protest was divided into two, summarized with the Anglophone crisis that is still on and very much present in the restive region of Northwest and the Southwest, but equally the electoral hold-up or the immediate modification of the electoral code to make it consensual so that electoral board members, for instance, should be appointed or elected by political parties or political actors, including civil society and Cameroonians in general, which is contrary to what we have obtained so far, that are all nominated by the executive headed by Mr. Biapol. Now, pushing further to the legal ramification of our peaceful protest is first enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights as an alienate of freedom to express yourself when you have grievances. One of the places where you can air those grievances sometimes is on air, as we are doing here, but equally on the streets. On the street because with a country where the state media have taken sides with the regime, it is the best place to meet the common man who do not, through the nature of their activity, always have time to follow regular news. And the few times they have to follow regular news, they are being brainwashed by their own very government that is elected to take care of them. So it was therefore our responsibility to bring to their knowledge. For so many maybe are not yet aware that more than 3,000 people have died on a useless war in the Northwest and the Southwest that is being perpetrated by a military solution put in place by the Biya regime. And secondly, they don't know why for 38 years now it's only a single party system that has been working in Cameroon, because they have actually juxtaposed, they have actually holding hostage the political landscape and making it possible only for the Biya regime to win from one election to the other. And the few political parties of the opposition, unfortunately, have been infiltrated, permit me the term, to make them always reflect the aspiration of the CPDM and not that of the people.
Mr. Jomo Cyril, before I leave you, you people termed the demonstration a peaceful demonstration. Now, I want to get the idea there. Was it to oust the regime in power, or to just sensitize the people on some negativities?
Thank you so much for that question, because it permits me to answer the last part that I promised. First, it was clearly stipulated that it was to ask Mr. Bia. If we go by the October the 7th election of 2018, everybody, including you viewers back home, know that Mr. Bia was put into a tutti by the Constitutional Council because they had to bring fake elements of Transparency International to come and verify their
You shall have to prove that to us.
No, we see a picture of those guys that came from the diaspora and represented themselves until the Transparency International had to disclaim. Secondly, to ask Mr. Bia, every day is set over TV, even if you follow TV across the Mungo. Kawala, for example, has made that one of her slogans. I mean, the president of CPP party have always made that, and nobody has chased her for that. So for once, that the Cameroon Renaissance movement also take into her cause, why do Cameroonians see it as an issue? I want to learn with the case of the minister who, before him, he was the Minister of Territorial Administration, Mr. Paul Atanganji, and him now, they are measuring the law according to their caprices, okay? Which is not good for the Republic. The Republic, in quote, is democracy. And when we talk of democracy, we talk of the rule of the law. On what basis should the Minister of Communication start warning the Cameroon Renaissance movement that their document is on the table and they are adopting it to suspend them on the political landscape? I want to tell you memory lane to tell you that the UPC, which is one of the nationalist party Cameroon has had from time immemorial, was banned in 1957, okay? But that has not stopped the UPCs to keep functioning up to today, because they have a slogan that you can kill the person, but the soul of that person will live across
By
the
doubt
nation.
whether it's a UPC or yes.
And it will live across the nation. It is the same thing we are telling this regime, notably Mr. Paul Atanganji and his colleague, Mr. Rene
Dr. Busi,
whether they ban the MRC, we are going to live across people's mind.
Dr. Busi, a militant has made it clear they were out to oust the present regime. If you look at their outing, because we're confused whether it is just to make some sensitization or to oust the regime, and it is clear that they were out to oust the regime. Do you see that demonstration successful?
Such demonstration can never be successful. And we saw it. The demonstration, it failed woefully, Mr. Moderator. Not that I'm not supporting, we're living in a democracy. And in a democracy, it's through elections that power is being taken. And we know we have a problem in our country. And we cannot solve our problems through demonstration at this moment when there's already the Anglophone problem, when people are dying in the Northwest and Southwest. You are a leader of a political party since the presidential election. Why did you not uphold the presidential election? You went in for the presidential election. You came out to say you scored a goal. And I asked myself, what were the proof? You could not table your complaint in the Constitutional Council, and you failed. You would have waited for the next 7 years elections to come up. You went on, you called for a demonstration. The government allowed you, you demonstrated. You were taken to prison. The same president.
The government never allowed them.
To an extent.
It wasn't approved
even to an extent.
It wasn't approved,
I said the government
they had to stop
allowed
it.
them, gave them the largesse. They even went out and demonstrated.
Okay.
And Mr. Kamto was taken, Professor Kamto was taken to prison. And it's still His Excellency President Paul Biya that took him out of prison. Yeah. And they warned him. And then you are seeing that we are still suffering from the dreadful COVID-19 and the Anglophone crisis. You go out again for another revolution. And going out for the revolution, President Kamto already had his objective. You cannot be calling for a revolution for people to demonstrate, and you give your own objective that you want to oust the President of the Republic. Are you saying that the institutions of the country will sit and wait for you to oust the President
Could it be that they are working?
Who was elected?
It's
a process.
Could it be that they are working on the theme that the hard way is the only way?
Mr. Moderator, I've explained here that President Kamto of the CRM party, his objectives are different. He has been fighting, he's a power monger, he has been fighting for power. He's struggling by all means to take power. And I feel that he should take power through the right way. Because when you see his objective, he's saying that he wants to solve the Anglophone crisis. And I ask myself, since the Anglophone crisis became dreadful, where have Professor Kamto gone to? Has he gone to the northwest and southwest, to the villages, and even comfort our own people? Yes. Professor Maurice Kamto has his objective to be the president.
We saw them raising funds to assist victims of the crisis and COVID-19.
Mr. Moderator, let's not deviate things. Okay. Let's concentrate on this topic of ousting the president.
No, I just wanted to
ousting the president of the republic.
Yeah,
I want to say that if Professor Maurice Kamto was very objective, he would have not said the CRM party should oust the president through undemocratic means. I will not call him President Maurice Kamto. I'll say the chairman of the CRM. What he would have done was that he was supposed to take it as a national issue. It was not supposed to be a political issue. He failed woefully. And he's under house arrest now because the president of the republic, for that, legal minds will interpret it their own way. But the country feels that we need peace and stability. Okay. And at this juncture, I think that in a democracy, everybody has the right. In our constitution, there's freedom of movement, there's freedom to organize political demonstration. Okay. But there are ways to follow. You must seek authorization. And I feel that the authorization, please allow me land, please. Yes. I feel that the authorization was denied by the governors of the littoral region and the central region. And he still went forth to say that people should demonstrate, Mr. Moderator. Even if the chairman of the CRM, Professor Maurice Kamto, was the president of this country, he will not allow opposition parties to demonstrate in moments like this. Because we are already in the dreadful crisis, the Anglophone crisis and the COVID-19. You can't add a national conflict again. And in the north of our country, the Boko Haram is still there, ravishing people there and their lives and their properties. I feel that Professor Maurice Kamto, as a legal mind, should understand that Cameroonians need peace. This is not the time for demonstration. If he's talking of the electoral code, fine. Those are things that can be dialogued on through democratic means. If that is not through physical violence, it is not true, I must be the president of the republic. He can still mold others to take over him as the days unfold. Okay. So at this juncture, Mr. Mambo Williams, Mr. Moderator, I feel that the people have the right to demonstrate, but I feel that Professor Maurice Kamto has been held by the government, have been stopped by the government several times because of the political times we are living in.
Okay, Mr. Item Armstrong, let me usher you in. We are looking at the CRM 22nd September demonstration to remember. What's your take about it? Was it really worth that we can live to remember that day?
I think there are many incidents in Cameroon that they are worth remembering than the 22 of September 2020. So at times people might create images for you to think that something will be serious, and the thing at the end never ended up serious. So I think it should not be more of, I think you put it wrong. We should not be thinking of September to remember. We should be thinking of forgone September, because a failed September rather. I want to, at this point, appreciate the professionality of the military, because at the last time I was pleading that they should use their professionality and instead guide the militants of the CRM to whichever destination they are going, because at the end they will get back home very tired and perhaps they will have nothing to deliver, and you will realize that successfully they did what they wanted to do at a minor level, and they got back to their houses. None of them was killed, So I think it stands to the professional military in the country. And I want to say
haven't gotten any much information about the demonstration because we heard so many of them have not been seen. Maybe some of them have been detained, and they were tear gas.
When you talk of people being detained, the law is not out to kill.
Okay.
The law is just there to curb the excesses.
Okay.
When you move to the wrong direction, when you do what is wrong, they put you behind the bar to reform you so that you can become a better person. Perhaps you have gone gaga, as people put it.
Mr. Achemastrom, you say
out of your mind.
There is nothing to take home about the 22nd September demonstration. Now, if I should ask you the question, why was the government so shivering?
No, the government was not so shivering. There is nothing that is too small. Okay. No, there is nothing that is too small. Anybody who loves his house will not want that his son or his daughter should be insulted. Once you tamper, he will always be very hurt, no matter how minor the threat appear. That is an attitude from somebody who loves his son.
Don't you think a message has been passed?
No, when you say a message has been passed, that is somebody who wants to attack back. There's always a punch when somebody is planning to hit you. I want to say that the reaction from the state was not a shivering reaction, but it was more or less a reaction that was
defensive.
A defensive reaction, as you can put it. I want to put it on this platform that the CRM have failed woefully, like the doctor rightly said, because if you look, they never came out in Yaoundé. And you will realize that they were
even the Norwest and Southwest.
They were talking of ousting the president of the republic, and they were there at the Douala.
In the remote areas.
In the remote area of Douala, like Bonabere and the others. Now, the question that comes to your mind is Etudi in Douala, and does the president of the republic have a home in Douala? The answer is just no. So here is to prove to you that somebody is just at the corner of his house trying to make some noise and deceiving himself of trying to pull down the president.
But the president has installation in so many places in the country, nearly everywhere.
Yes, that is why I want to tell you here. I am not giving people strategy to fight the state, but Mali and many other states will tell you that when you want to plan a coup to oust the president, you don't make outing. Because when you make outing, the state as well will ready himself for you. And at the end, it will prove about it. Let me learn, please.
Yeah.
You also realize that till date, Kamto has not said nothing, even though they have been...
He's under house arrest.
Let me tell you something. Even though there have been 10 Anglophones that were killed, if Kamto is under house arrest, his Secretary General and other militants that could send out communiques, the PRO of the party and whosoever are still alive.
They're out there talking.
Yeah. When I say they're outside there talking, I'm saying that they have not made any outing as per the killing that took place in the Anglophone region during that on that 22. Okay. And I want to also say that PAP that was following them blindly.
Yeah.
They are now on the run because that was the party that even mounted muzzles and came out in Yaoundé at the outskirts of Yaoundé.
Are you sure they were blind?
And when I say they were blind, because CRM that was championing the show never came out in Yaoundé, and as a blind man, they did not
came out first, and we saw them.
As a blind man, they did not see that the CRM did not come out, and they went out. So I thought that they will even go to A2D as promised.
Mr. Mojo,
I'll give you time. I'll give you time. Let me
add this.
No.
See, there is something that Miss Anjomosiri. There's something.
You are the moderator.
No. Miss Anjomosiri, wait. Miss Anjomosiri.
You will give me the chance to
Miss Anjomosiri, excuse me.
Look at the joke.
There is a point I want it to come out before. I'll give you the time. Wait, please.
And you will give him back
no, please.
Come back to
some of their frontliners not even demonstrate.
You want to permit me talking
Miss Anjomosiri.
You see the allegation coming on, and you want me to sit down. I cannot sit quiet on that. I cannot. I'm sorry, moderator, for what.
Their frontliners were not saying that they wanted the common man to go and
comment on that. You have to permit me to
He's one of the frontliners here. He didn't go out.
You have to permit me moderator
They say
because
faith.
everybody has his own time of law.
They should take
He
power
has
to
his own time. He has to jot down
President
what he has to say.
I'm the one to coordinate the time.
No, if we interject, it will be problem. So he has to permit that I comment on some of the utterances that he said. Because when I sit
That's
here,
why I say there's a contradiction here. I want you to get to there before I come to you.
I'm saying that moderator, they cannot team up to come
It's
to
not a
say
matter
like
of
to
team.
Cameroonian.
We
Okay?
don't want riot in
These
the
are
country.
these are people
We
who
don't want riot
don't
in the
have
country.
any political identity.
We don't have one riot.
Okay? They don't have any
So you
political
have
identity.
you have a political
And
identity.
they have the guts.
You were sleeping in your house. You do demonstrate. If
They
you
have
have
the
you had
guts.
a political identity.
I
Did
want
you go
to
out?
invite you, dear friend, to go to my page,
Did you go
my
out?
Facebook page, Mayor
slept
Civil,
in your
and check
house?
whether I was not in my 17 on the 22nd.
Where?
If you go on my page and you don't see that, call me a liar and never believe to me.
We saw it online. That's why
I'm regretting on this platform
we
that
saw
the university
it.
doctor
Excuse me.
can
The CRM
dare
has failed.
say that we were not on the
Doc,
field.
Doc, just wait. Doc, just
You
wait.
went and saw
So,
some
Mr. Moderator, let's start
some petty parties
talking about.
4 people marching
You'll be
on the
hitting
way
on a
to
point that I
oust-
wanted him to
oust a
comment
constitutional president.
before you hit on
To
that
oust a
point.
constitutional president.
Please, Mr. Njomosiri, wait. I want him to comment on a point before he comment. What I wanted to ask you, Doctor, you people are saying that that 22nd made no news, but we had reactions even from international bodies, from legal minds, and so on. Then you people say it made no news.
Mr. Moderator, permit me say that this same 22nd of this, September, it was the same day some years back that the Anglophone went out to demonstrate. And you saw with peace plan in this country. And you saw the number of persons. It was not a demonstration that was announced, Mr. Moderator.
No, what I'm saying,
I want to say something.
it is
okay.
awareness.
We know that we know that we have seen tweets. We have seen tweets
Good.
from Tubonagi and others.
That is it.
That peaceful demonstration is correct, Mr. Moderator. Tubonagi is talking like a diplomat. We are talking contextually, looking at the crisis we already have in our country. Tubonagi is talking from an international community. Cameroon is a sovereign country, Mr.
Dr.
Moderator.
Busi,
Permit me land,
these guys came without weapons, without anything to harm.
Mr. Moderator, a peaceful riot, you don't know what can
just
happen.
a march.
A march, a peaceful demonstration, you don't understand the human mind is so complex.
Okay.
The psychodissonance of people is so complex. You don't know what can happen in the field.
Okay, that's what
because
I
they
wanted
only
to get
pronounced
before.
that their objective was to oust the president of the republic.
They
They said that.
That's what I wanted
and
to get
authorization
before I
was
come
not
to-
given.
Now,
So Cameroon
Mr.
government has the right to
Njomosiri,
protect their
could
interests.
it be possible that the president of the republic is ousted without being armed?
Wow, what a wonderful question, Mr.
That's why I wanted to get their view before I come to that.
Sometimes we don't get your wisdom, so you have to pardon us for some of those excesses. So,
And that is where the peculiarity of the CRM comes in place. Can the head of state be ousted without weapon? The answer is yes.
Okay.
And we have chosen that option for peaceful change. It's our slogan. And that's since 2012 that the party was born. And since then, we have been working in that limelight. And God is our witness. So, every demonstration, October 1st is coming. People should not talk as if they are forgotten. Okay? Every demonstration that we are going to partake on is going to be peaceful. If we were to take arms, we were to join the separatists, we choose that we are going to fight the dictatorial regime through peaceful protest. Permit me now come back to some of the utterances that were said. And I'm not going to call names here because truly people who are watching us are much more learned, and so no time to be attacking co-panelists. But what I want to regret from the very first thing is we share certain private group together. When I went to my 17 alone, even having arranged with some friends that we should meet at my 17 that very day, I did my best to take pictures and videos and send in the group that we share all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you, moderator. And so to sit on the platform and hear from my co-panelists that there was nothing, all I can register with the accomplishment of our viewer is that we are cowards.
Boy, I was very
And because we are cowards, we cannot face ourselves over the mirror.
No, you can't insult yourself like that.
Secondly,
You can't insult.
Boy, I was very peaceful. Nothing happened like a demonstration.
Yeah.
people are backing their salary here and I can understand them. But secondly, what I want to say here is that that very day, 8 journalists were arrested, among which we have some Anglophone journalists. And
is to show that that day had a content. More to that, more than 528 Cameroonians are in various detention areas in Cameroon. And we are seeing this opportunity to remind the government that they are detaining them illegally. Some few cases that were total success. The case of Bafa in the West region, where protesters went out in their thousands. And even the few protesters that were caught illegally and detained, they went back to the police centers and the gendarmeries, and through their mobilization, they removed. They were able to have back their fellow protesters. And that was a success to Cameroonians. Even though some days after, the divisional officer of that locality produced a communique summoning the mayor of that community to court, that it is through his complices that the protest was a success. I want to see that case, like the case of Baham, like the case of Bafoussam, like the case of Douala, like the case of Yaoundé, to say that, Mr. Moderator, I have authority to talk over this issue because I at least beat the fear and went out.
Can I ask a question?
And I was doing that as a patriotic move. And so many mothers and fathers and brothers that follow this program always testify their faithfulness to me on the streets. And they tell me with a lot of sincerity in their eyes that, brother, we know the journey you have embarked on is not easy, but we are with you, even if we don't have the kind of courage you have. And that what to me alone, get me and get it well, is enough. I'm not fighting for any position, neither in the city of Boya, nor wherever in the country. But I'm accompanying a mission that has been assigned to me by God. And when I call myself mayor, I call myself mayor for that little boy that always go and wake up his mother to come and follow CMTV. One boy does not tell you this. I was shocked. A mother met me on the streets and pointed his little boy that he always come and gets him up to come and watch the program. And whenever he watch the program, he makes sure that he drop things. And that is all the time he has been seeing me and pointing my finger, and so she has decided
a boy of about what age?
About 9 years old.
But don't you think that the parents are doing the wrong thing?
To tell that young children that you are my children. All the sacrifice I always do is for you. If on October 1st, that is upcoming, you see me on the street, I'm fighting for you.
Okay.
And whatever thing I go through, believe me, I'm speaking from my heart, I'm working for you, and I believe that wherever you are and whatever you will become, you will remember that somebody stood for you.
Okay, Dr. Busi.
Yes, sir.
Now, before we come to the file that is being dusted now to come to it, if we look at that demonstration, we see that Professor Kamto wasn't available.
Yes.
Now, we hear he was under house arrest. What's your analysis about him being put under house arrest in a peaceful demonstration?
You know that as a leader of his party, and he has followers. And the truth is that if the leader of the party is out, many people will be bravery to go out there and demonstrate. I don't know what might happen. And the government thought it wise that they should keep him under house arrest, but legal minds will denounce that. But I want to say that his compound was highly militarized. Up to today, he's under house arrest because the government needs peace, and we need peace in this country, Mr. Mojeto. The objective of the government was to keep peace, and thank God that nothing happened. It was a failure that day for the CRM party. It was a total failure because we cannot be living in a crisis. And there's no way. When you see our co-panelists talk, he talks a lot of emotions. Because we are already living in a crisis. There is no way Professor Maurice Kamto can take the Anglophone crisis and compare with this fight for power. And Mr. Mojeto, when you call names, names or dates, eventful dates, historical dates, you mix historical facts. Because when you look at Professor Kamto, he wants to follow the way the Anglophones have been fighting for their secessionists and so on, which is not the same. And in a country like this, you have seen that the government have suffered for 4 years. The economy is down. The economy of the country is down. And you know that Douala is the heart of the country. I'll not call Yaoundé. Douala is the heart of the country. And his objective was to hold Douala and Yaoundé. And when he failed in Douala, he'd already failed. And The government knew that if the demonstration is high in Douala, Douala owns most of the companies of this country. And if Douala is slow for 1 week, the country is down, Mr. Moderator.
Let me ask you a question.
And the government had to protect its interests.
Somebody asked a question, can a river swallow up an ocean?
It's possible. It's possible. It's happening in other countries.
So you see that maybe the CRM can still maybe succeed
not in this process. I don't want to say succeed. Not in this process. We are already in an Anglophone crisis.
Okay.
And the Anglophone have their own objective. It's funny when a panelist sits and talk of October 1st with Maurice Kamto. Maurice Kamto, the Anglophone had his own independence in such a date, in October 1st. And Maurice Kamto is struggling for power. And you cannot say that you people go out again on October 1st to demonstrate.
But that should be
That's
the
a
motive
mix-up.
That should be the motive of every politician.
That means Professor Maurice Kamto has no roadmap, political roadmap. He has no objective in what he's doing. He should not mix his political gain with the Anglophone crisis. The Anglophone crisis is quite deep.
Mr. Item,
so he should not mix things.
Looking at your legal mind, we see that the files of the CRM of Professor Maurice Kamto is being dusted. What's your take about that, or what do you foresee the days ahead?
Yeah, I know that, like I used to quote here, the law is slow, but it will surely arrive at its destination. The mere fact that you go to court every day and they adjourn a case does not mean that one day a verdict will not be passed. So it's just to assure you that they are properly diagnosing your files and are properly looking into the facts of your case to deliver a relevant and very healthy judgment. So if their files are in front of the minister and they are being dusted, judges. I mean the justice and they are being dusted, I know that is to bring them before the law for them to answer
but what do you think we have to bring them before the law? Because as they call it, peaceful demonstration.
No, you know.
Yes, that's what I am asking.
When you people talk of bringing somebody before the law, there are people who are brought at times before the law when they have done nothing. You come there to prove their innocence.
Okay.
It does not mean that anytime you are dragged to the court is because you are a criminal.
Yeah.
Cameroon should get it right. At times, if Maurice Kamto goes to court, he's a very fine lawyer. I think he's one of the best lawyers that this country has ever had. He was there during the time of the Bakassi Peninsula, and Cameroon appreciated him for the role he played. So when we are saying that his files are before, even he himself knows that he is to go there to answer questions as to why he demonstrated, why he was forbidden not from demonstrating. Maybe if he defends himself properly, he will not be detained. Now let me counter some manifestations that came from my co-panelists.
Yeah.
You see, when you talk of peaceful demonstration, CRM militants destroyed embassies abroad.
No, we are talking of the 22nd.
Let me talk, Mr. Moderator. When we talk of peace, peaceful, you demonstrate peaceful when you don't destroy anything. And when you are talking, you say we should be mature.
If you are talking of the former demonstration,
now you are coming. Let me learn.
If you are talking of the former demonstration, we have concentrated on the 22nd.
Let me say something.
We know that the former demonstration, there was another intrusion.
Let me say something.
Yes, please.
Either it's a 22, or it was when. The main fact is that it's a process, and it was a preparation for an act. Now, if you want to kill somebody, you don't just get up that very day and you go and kill the person. If you know the law properly, the law, a criminal act has to have a physical element and the mental element. That mental element is a process. You might plan to kill somebody in over 100 years, and you kill maybe the last day you are even dying.
Okay, so just now, like talking about the 1st October.
Yeah, so those acts, those manifestations had started earlier, where embassies of Cameroon, and you know the embassies of Cameroon is Cameroon itself. Their properties were destroyed and whatsoever.
Mr. Armstrong, please, you are legal mind. If you talk of those embassies that were destroyed and other, was it the CRM that did it?
Of course, it was their militants. It was their militants. I think
because we understand there was another intrusion.
Let me land.
Okay, 30 seconds.
They were talking and calling CRM. Don't tell me that you are a journalist, you don't follow up events.
No, excuse me. There was another intrusion. That's what I'm trying to say.
Now, once that point has been made, I will go abroad to say that the photos of the demonstration that my co-panelist is making mention of putting them on social media, perhaps he took those photos on another day. Because no TV station or no media outlet had reported his demonstration in Boya. And besides, my fellow co-panelists went out to demonstrate. My 17 was perhaps not the appropriate venue because his boss is targeting the president of the republic. He should be targeting the governor of the Southwest region so that they completely hold the terrain hostage. Please. Let me make my point.
10 seconds. 10 seconds, please. Okay, 10 seconds.
Now,
10 seconds.
No.
10 seconds.
When we talk of Maurice Kamto being under house arrest, he's not being tortured. House arrest is just a scenario where authorities
keep an individual. Psychological torture.
Let me explain. Because the government needs peace. Please, let me explain. House arrest is a scenario where authorities hold an individual hostage. Okay. They might deprive him from moving outside because
the people enter his house
because he's manifesting some violent tendencies. So if he's allowed to go out and move freely, he might endanger the lives of others. That is why it's an alternative to imprisonment. But they don't want.
There's information that his lawyers were to go to his house to check him.
Mr. Jomosiri, these files are to be dusted. What's your take about this as of now?
That is mere intimidation. Okay, it's mere intimidation. And even if they take the act, it will not do anything to us because just like the UPC,
the government said it the last time they picked him up.
I'm telling you that it's already part of our lifestyle. They thought that taking Kamto and other political friends to the prison is going to stop the movement. When we boycotted the blind sheep, or should I say, the merrymaking election that took place in February 9th, they said that, we have signed our death certificate and that after that they will never hear about us. Here are we entering October. They are still talking about the CRM. Let me tell you, banning the CRM will raise another issue. Don't forget, we are not living in an isolated land. Cameroon is part of treaties around the world. And as I'm talking to you, more Cameroonians are going on asylum with the CRM cards. Even my panelists are making noise here. If they have to run from this country,
I'm not making noise.
I think listening to somebody is out. You ask me a question, I'm trying to learn on it. They will ask me a party card. Are you getting me? They will ask me a party card because they will seek asylum abroad. Because when you are treating your political opponent in a country, you must be able to assure the international community that there is freedom of expression in your country, which is a universal declared law. Rights. Some few things were said. I want to answer to all of them. I want to bundle them.
We just have 5 minutes for this topic.
To say that if you don't do politics, none of them have a political card. So
all you can't say that.
All the noise that are being media.
Should we show our political cards in the media? Should we show your political? Have you ever shown us your political card?
CRM is not a party that can take the people along. They like a lot of show.
Okay.
Show your political. Be objective. Be objective. Have you ever shown me your political card?
I say I want
to be analysts. We are analysts. We are not here to showcase how we have.
You are subjective always. You are always subjective.
If you don't do
not to support a party.
Can we concentrate on
the party is only failing woefully?
So I wanted to summarize.
We don't get powered by ousting the president by force.
You have 20 seconds. You have 20 seconds.
So what I wanted to say is that if you don't do politics and you are suffering of political indigestion, please don't blame politicians.
Mr. Anjomo, please.
Let me tell you, the guys have spoken for 5 minutes. I'm just at 1 minute. You are complaining. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to talk about. Excuse me.
Mr. Anjomo, there are so many questions I want to ask you.
You are putting everything in my time.
He has a file of election that has been deliberated in their own days.
With the different
and how do you know they don't have a card?
Excuse me. With the different parties.
What I want to say is that
you don't come here and make stupidity.
Okay, gentlemen, to summarize with you,
people are using your emotion to play both here on this platform, and you need to be careful. What I want to say is that before the election, the BR regime sets an important contingent of policemen and military logistic on the field, and we saw them, including military men, Wataka, and you can name the few, blended cars, and much more. All that to create fear in the mind of people.
Excuse me. Just 1 minute.
The government is maintaining peace.
Please.
The government is first of all suffering.
The last question
The government
to you,
is
Mr.
suffering.
Jomosiri.
The government wants to
Don't you
maintain
think
peace,
that,
Massa.
As they say,
The
with
Anglophone
what we are
crisis
going
is
through
dreadful.
now, because there are so many
suffering.
families that are crying because they are not seeing their family
Not add
members.
crisis
and so.
upon crisis.
Don't you think that the people are behind bars? Some they don't know where they are. They might just be crying, Kamto, why hast thou forsaken us? Because he wasn't even there to protect them.
Just like me, do you really think today that if I'm picked up, I'll be crying for Kamto? At a certain level of the fight, you fight for yourself. I mean, first, your family, everybody already know your position about life and death. Because they know anytime like death beats you, the memory will just remain that you were fighting for a
we are concluding.
No, excuse me, because when we are talking sensitive thing like this, don't be naive. We are no more at that level where you are fighting for your stomach. No, he has gone past that level. Okay. So wherever they are, they know that they are reaping the fruit of their own action, and they are not blaming anybody. It is only political blinded individual that can sit on the platform like this and dare.
No.
And dare talk about people who are taking initiative.
Dr. Busi, please. Dr. Busi.
The next topic you will see them, they will be unable to coin what? Because they are not logical.
We are summarizing on this topic. Now these files are being dusted.
What the level of cowardness?
Do you foresee so many other people going behind bars? Those who are already there will start chewing their teeth.
The government said they will follow legal procedures, Mr. Moderator, because this demonstration was banned. And it baffles me at times when I sit on panel, people insult people and they want to lead, and they are showing example. What model are they showing? Leading by insulting Cameroonians. If you don't even have respect for the sitting president, I don't know whether you have respect for Professor Maurice Kamto, sir. Mr. Moderator, permit me say that the government will follow the law, the rule of law.
Will you be surprised President Paul Biya still forgives?
It's a father, he can forgive, but I don't think that Professor Maurice Kamto is already a power monger, and he wants to take power by all means. And he should take power through democratic means. By then, I will call him president of this country. For now, President Maurice Kamto is a power monger, and he should rally the Cameroonians through geopolitics and go to all the areas of Cameroon and campaign for a democratic elections. Not through, because at this juncture, we are already suffering from a deep Anglophone crisis, where Professor Maurice Kamto wants to mix the Anglophone crisis with his power struggle, which is not correct. Okay. And I want to end by saying that if people claim that they want to be politicians, they should be loyal, they should be submissive, and they should have a manner of talking to people.
I want to say that CRM is a very arrogant party.
Very arrogant.
And we wish to call on them.
Very arrogant.
You know,
they are arrogant.
All over Africa, all over the world. Don't you see?
Allow me to talk. Very soon you
have never seen the SDM. You have never seen the SDM talking like that.
Okay.
When I talk about arrogant party, on this platform, I will never insult
CRM members are very arrogant.
And I will never insult you.
This man is always subjective.
When dictatorship becomes the order of the day, you must
he doesn't analyze objectively.
Resistance becomes a cause. When
are you coming here to talk about CRM all the time?
No, please.
Analyze facts.
Can you coordinate them?
Please.
I have to make my
Mr. Anjomo, that statement, I'm sure CMTV is not for that.
So some members are already withdrawing from the party.
A lot of them.
Because the party is already proving itself.
I have people who told me that they regretted CRM. I have people who are saying that they regretted.
Dear viewers, we shall go for a jingle break. When we come back, we'll continue.
The party is too arrogant.
Stupid statement.
The party is arrogant.